The shuttle doors hissed open, and Maya Reyes stepped into the Academy of Galactic Excellence, her heart pounding with equal parts awe and dread. The air was thick with the hum of alien chatter, 100 languages interwoven into an alien symphony. Towering insectoids, shimmering amorphous blobs, and scaled leviathans roamed the vast courtyard, each a testament to the galaxy's diversity. Maya, the lone human in a sea of extraterrestrial prodigies, felt every curious, condescending gaze sear through her like lasers. "You're the Earthling?" a sharp voice barked. Maya turned to face a floating sphere of iridescent light. It pulsed in annoyance, its harsh tones broadcast telepathically. "You're late." Typical primitive behavior. "Come on, let's get you sorted." Maya gritted her teeth, ignoring the insult, and followed the sphere through a labyrinth of corridors. This was her chance, Earth's chance, to prove humanity could stand shoulder to shoulder with the galaxy's elite. The Academy wasn't just a school, it was the proving ground for champions of the Galactic Tournament, an event watched across countless star systems. Winning here meant earning a place among legends. Losing meant obscurity. The sphere led her into a cavernous hall, where a holographic roster hovered in midair. Maya squinted, searching for her name. The list of teams glowed in neon colors, and at the very bottom, in dull gray letters, she found it. Team Zeta. A muffled snicker drew her attention. A group of sleek, feline aliens lounged nearby, their luminous eyes fixed on her. "They put the human on Zeta?" "Perfect fit," one sneered, flicking its tail. "Dead weight for the losers." Maya ignored them, her jaw tightening. She wouldn't let them see her frustration. Instead, she approached the rest of Team Zeta, clustered awkwardly near a corner. It was immediately obvious why they were the Academy's laughingstock. Zorvik, a towering Zarin with green, pebbly skin, was fumbling with his oversized hands, crushing what looked like a training device. Next to him, Vrixa, a small, insect-like creature with trembling antennae, looked ready to bolt at the slightest noise. Tylo, a wiry, orange-skinned alien with pointed ears, was perched lazily on a crate, his expression bored and dismissive. Lastly, Lela, a diminutive figure with shimmering scales, seemed to shrink even further when Maya approached. "Hi," Maya began, forcing a smile. "I'm Maya, your new teammate." Tylo snorted. "Great. Another disaster for the collection." Zorvik offered a hesitant handshake but accidentally squeezed too hard, making Maya wince. "Sorry," he blurted, his deep voice reverberating with embarrassment. Vrixa muttered something incomprehensible and scuttled away, while Lela merely nodded, her large, luminous eyes avoiding Maya's gaze. "All right," Maya said, taking a deep breath. "I know we're not exactly the Academy's favorites, but that doesn't mean we can't change things. What do you say we prove them wrong?" Tylo laughed outright. "You don't get it, do you? We're not just bad. We're the worst. The Academy keeps us around to make everyone else look good." The word stung, but Maya held her ground. "Well, maybe it's time the worst team stopped being the punchline. Look, I don't care how many times you've lost. I care about how hard we're willing to fight." The room fell silent. Then Zorvik spoke, his voice hesitant but hopeful. I'm in." One by one, the others murmured agreement, though Tylo rolled his eyes and muttered, "This'll be a train wreck." Maya smiled, her determination hardening. "Then let's get to work." The weakest team had just found its spark. The training room was a chaotic symphony of grunts, crashes, and shouted frustrations. Maya stood at the center, arms crossed, watching Team Zeta fall apart yet again. "Zorvik, watch your footing." "Vrixa, stop panicking." "Tylo, could you, I don't know, try?" Maya's voice cut through the noise like a whip. Zorvik, the towering Zarin, tripped over his own massive feet and collided with a stack of hollow dummies, sending them crashing in all directions. Vrixa let out a high-pitched squeal and scuttled behind a shield projector, her translucent wings fluttering nervously. Tylo, lounging against the wall, didn't even glance up from his multi-tool, lazily tinkering with it. "This is pointless," Tylo drawled, finally looking at Maya. "We're hopeless. You can't lead a team of broken parts." Maya strode up to him, her dark eyes blazing. "Broken parts can still make something great. You'd know that if you ever put in the effort." Tylo's smirk faltered, but before he could respond, Lella's quiet voice interrupted. What's the point if no one believes in us? She stood near the back, her shimmering scales catching the light. Even if we improve, they'll still treat us like jokes. Maya paused, the weight of their collective despair sinking in. They'll believe in us when we give them no choice, she said, her tone firm. But that starts here. With us. She stepped into the center of the room and clapped her hands. All right, enough of this. Let's focus on what we can do instead of what we can't. Zorvik, you're strong, but strength means nothing if you don't control it. Lella, you're fast and agile, use that to your advantage. Vrixa, you're the smartest one here. If you can trust yourself under pressure, we'll all be better for it. And Tylo, she turned to him with a sharp look. You've got the skills. Now back it up with teamwork. The words hung in the air. For a moment, no one moved. Then Zorvik stepped forward, his massive shoulders squared. I'll try. Me too, Vrixa whispered, Antini twitching nervously. Lella nodded, a flicker of determination in her wide, luminous eyes. Tylo sighed dramatically. Fine. But don't expect miracles. Maya smiled. It wasn't much, but it was a start. The next few days were grueling. Maya pushed them harder than any of them expected, herself included. They ran simulations, practiced formations, and studied their rivals' strengths and weaknesses. Mistakes were frequent, tempers flared, and setbacks felt endless. But little by little, the team began to improve. Zorvik learned to harness his strength, demolishing obstacles with precision instead of brute force. Lella's agility turned her into a blur in combat drills, darting past opponents before they could react. Vrixa, armed with Maya's encouragement, started calling out strategies mid-battle, her voice steadier each time. Even Tylo, grudgingly, began to participate, his sharp reflexes and technical expertise proving invaluable. On the third day, Maya gathered them after a particularly grueling drill. Look around, she said. We're not the same team we were when we started. We're not perfect, but we're getting there. For the first time, there were no protests. No sarcasm. Just a quiet, shared determination. The weakest team was beginning to find its strength. The roar of the crowd was deafening. Maya stood with Team Zeta in the waiting bay, the arena's massive gates towering before them. Beyond the gates, the cheers of thousands of alien spectators echoed, a cacophony of excitement and expectation. Most weren't here to see Team Zeta win. They were here to watch the Academy's weakest team get humiliated by the undefeated champions of the scrimmage rounds, Team Apex. Maya adjusted her combat gloves, her heart pounding. The stakes were clear: win this scrimmage or be disqualified from the Galactic tournament entirely. Team Zeta's journey would end before it had truly begun. All right, she said, turning to her team. We've trained for this. We know their strengths, but they don't know ours. That's our advantage. Stick to the plan, trust each other, and don't give them an inch. Zorvik nodded, his massive fists clenched. Vrix's antennae twitched nervously, but she managed to shake he got it. Lella, silent but resolute, adjusted her lightweight armor. Tylo leaned against the wall, fiddling with his gear, his expression unreadable. The gates groaned open, and the bright lights of the arena spilled in. Maya led the way, the team following behind her. The crowd's reaction was immediate, a wave of jeers, laughter, and mocking chants. Zeta's doomed, someone yelled. Maya squared her shoulders. Let them mock. They wouldn't be laughing for long. Across the arena, Team Apex stood in formation, exuding confidence. Kael'tan, their leader, a sleek and imposing feline alien with gleaming silver fur, smirked at them. I hope you're ready to lose, human. It'll be over quick. Maya didn't rise to the bait. Instead, she met his gaze with a steady determination. We'll see. The first round began with a blinding flash of light. A maze materialized around them, its towering walls shifting constantly. The objective: retrieve the central beacon and return it to their base. Stick to the plan, Maya called as the team moved. Zorvik barreled forward, smashing through weaker sections of the maze, clearing paths with sheer force. Lela darted ahead, her agility allowing her to navigate the shifting walls with ease. Vrixa, perched on Zorvik's shoulder, called out directions, her keen mind mapping the maze in real time. Maya stayed with Tylo, who was hacking into a nearby console. "Got it," he said, grinning as the maze's shifting patterns slowed, giving them a crucial advantage. They reached the beacon just as Team Apex arrived. The fight was brutal. Kael'tan and his team moved with precision, their coordination flawless. Zorvik struggled to fend off two attackers at once, and Lela barely dodged a series of energy blasts. But Maya saw an opening. "Zorvik, swing left." "Vrixa, signal Lela to flank." The team moved as one. Zorvik's charge distracted Apex long enough for Lela to dart in and grab the beacon. "Go!" Maya shouted. Lela sprinted back toward their base, dodging Apex's pursuit. The crowd gasped as she narrowly avoided a final strike and slammed the beacon into the base's receiver. A loud horn blared. The round was over. The arena fell silent. Then, to Maya's astonishment, a small section of the crowd began to cheer. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Kael'tan glared at her from across the arena, his smug confidence replaced with frustration. "This isn't over," he snarled. Maya smirked. "No, it's not." Team Zeta had won the first round. The galaxy was finally paying attention. The locker room buzzed with an energy Team Zeta had never felt before. Victory against Team Apex in the scrimmage had ignited a spark of hope, but Maya knew that Embers alone wouldn't win the Galactic tournament. The path ahead was steeper, and their rivals wouldn't let them forget it. "We proved something out there," Maya said, addressing the team as they regrouped. "But one win doesn't make us champions. We need to get better, faster, smarter, and stronger." Zorvik flexed his massive arms, still bruised from the scrimmage. "We'll crush them," he rumbled, his confidence growing. "Crushing's great," Tylo said, leaning back against the wall, "but what happens when they outsmart us?" Apex nearly did. His tone was casual, but the challenge in his eyes was clear. "That's why we work as a team," Maya said firmly, meeting Tylo's gaze. "We've got the skills, now we need to make them unbreakable." The next few days were relentless. The Academy assigned Team Zeta a series of advanced training simulations, each designed to test their limits. The first was a zero-gravity combat drill in a vast arena filled with shifting platforms and floating debris. "This is about precision," Maya explained as they floated into position. "Zorvik, use your strength to control the debris. Lela, you're our scout. Vrixa, guide us. Tylo, keep an eye out for weak points." The drill began, and chaos erupted. Lela darted between platforms, her small frame perfectly suited for the zero-gravity environment. Zorvik hurled chunks of floating debris with calculated power, using them as shields and weapons. Vrixa, perched on a rotating platform, analyzed the movements of their simulated opponents, shouting warnings and strategies. But it wasn't perfect. Zorvik misjudged the throw and sent a platform spinning into Tylo's path, nearly knocking him off course. Tylo snapped, "Watch it, big guy," and the tension threatened to unravel them. "Focus," Maya shouted, steadying them. "Mistakes happen. Fix them and move forward." Gradually, they adjusted, their movements synchronizing. By the end of the drill, they had completed the scenario with seconds to spare. The next simulation pushed them further, a high-speed asteroid race. Piloting a sleek, multi-seated starship, the team had to navigate an ever-shifting asteroid field while fending off enemy drones. Tylo took the controls, his natural aptitude for piloting shining as he weaved through the deadly maze. "Maya, on your right." Vrixa called, and Maya fired at a drone attempting to flank them. Zorvik operated the ship's rear shields, deflecting incoming debris, while Lela used her agility to hop between gunner stations, picking off enemies with pinpoint accuracy. They didn't win the simulation outright, but their performance was miles ahead of where they had started. As their skills improved, so did the pressure. Rival teams, stung by Zeta's surprising rise, began targeting them. Supplies mysteriously disappeared. Training schedules were suddenly rescheduled to overlap with critical simulations. It was clear someone didn't want them competing. Late one night, as Maya reviewed strategy holofiles in the team's common room, a message blinked onto her screen. The sender was anonymous, and the message was brief. Your success isn't part of the plan. Back out before the tournament, or you'll regret it. Maya leaned back, the weight of the threat sinking in. Whoever was behind it didn't just want them to lose, they wanted them out. She stared at the screen for a moment longer before deleting the message. If they thought threats would stop her, they were about to learn just how wrong they were. Team Zeta was no longer a joke. They were a threat, and someone out there wasn't ready for that. The Galactic Tournament's opening ceremony was a spectacle of color and sound, with thousands of alien species watching from the colossal arena and across the galaxy. Holographic displays floated above the crowd, showcasing the competitors, sleek insectoids, glowing energy beings, and towering warlike predators. Among them was Team Zeta, now the underdog story that had captured whispers of intrigue and skepticism alike. Maya stood at the edge of the team's platform, her gaze sweeping the massive crowd. She clenched her fists to steady herself. The anonymous threat still echoed in her mind, but she had no intention of backing down. Team Zeta had earned its place here, and nothing was going to take it away. Ready? Maya asked her team as the tournament's first challenge was announced over the booming speakers. Zorvik cracked his knuckles. Let's do this. Vrixa nodded, antennae twitching nervously. We've trained for this. We can win. Tylo leaned against the wall, smirking. They won't know what hit them. Lela simply smiled, the quiet determination in her eyes a stark contrast to her usual timidity. The first round was a battle of endurance and strategy in a simulated black hole environment. Competitors had to collect gravitational energy cores scattered across the field while navigating collapsing platforms and intense gravitational pulls. As the countdown began, Maya's voice cut through the tension. Stick to the plan. Zorvik, take the heavy lifting. Lela, scout ahead. Tylo, manage the core stabilization. Vrixa, guide us from above. When the timer hit 0, chaos erupted. Teams scrambled across the crumbling platforms, some falling into the simulated black hole's event horizon, their holographic avatars flickering out. Left side, 3 cores. Vrixa shouted from a floating observation post. Zorvik leapt across a shifting platform, narrowly avoiding a gravity surge, and grabbed the first core. Lela darted ahead, snatching a second just as an opponent lunged for it. Tylo calibrated the cores, steadying their volatile energy signatures, while Maya defended their position with a borrowed energy shield. Behind you. Vrixa warned. Maya spun, blocking a strike from a towering reptilian alien. The opponent hissed, swiping again, but before it could land a blow, Zorvik barreled into it, sending it sprawling. Got the last core. Lela shouted, sprinting back. Move! Maya commanded as the simulated environment began to collapse. They reached the extraction point just as the final platform disintegrated beneath their feet. The round ended with Team Zeta finishing in third place, a result that stunned the crowd. For the first time, murmurs of approval rippled through the arena. The second round was a high-speed asteroid race, where competitors piloted starships through a deadly obstacle course. Tylo took the helm, his hands flying over the controls as the ship weaved through the chaos. Vrixa, trajectory updates. Tylo called. 15-degree shift incoming. Watch the debris field. Zorvik managed the shields, deflecting incoming projectiles, while Lela operated the ship's weapons, blasting rival ships that got too close. Maya acted as their strategist, calling out patterns and rallying the team. Despite sabotage attempts by rival teams, engines mysteriously sputtering mid-race, targeting systems glitching, Team Zeta finished second, securing their spot in the final round. The last round was a no-holds-barred arena match against the reigning champions, Team Apex. The objective, capture the opponent's flag while defending their own. Maya's team faced Kael'tan and his squad once again. This time, however, Apex wasn't playing fair. Their enhanced abilities became obvious within minutes: unnatural speed, impossible precision, and strength that no academy training could produce. They're using illegal enhancements, Maya muttered, dodging a strike from Kael'tan. Doesn't matter, Tylo replied, taking down an opponent with a well-placed energy bolt. We can still beat them. Maya nodded, rallying her team. Stick to the plan. We've got this. As Apex pushed forward, Zorvik held the line, his massive frame absorbing hit after hit. Lela darted behind enemy lines, using her agility to snag the flag while Vrixa called out Apex's movements. Tylo provided covering fire, keeping their opponents distracted. The final moments were a blur of motion. With Apex closing in, Maya made the call. Zorvik, throw the flag. Zorvik hurled the glowing banner across the arena. Lela leapt into the air, catching it mid-flight, and sprinted toward the base. The crowd erupted as she slammed the flag onto the podium. A loud horn blared, signaling the match's end. Team Zeta had won. The arena exploded with cheers, the sound almost deafening. Maya stood at the center of her team, grinning as the announcer declared them the tournament champions. Kael'tan glared from across the field, his smug arrogance replaced with fury. As the team celebrated, Maya raised her voice above the noise. We didn't just win for us. We won for everyone who's ever been told they weren't good enough. This is what happens when you fight with everything you've got. The galaxy was watching. And they would never forget the day Team Zeta rose from the ashes and claimed victory.